Hello everyone. Today's video is concerning about some of the safety precautions that we need to take when we are working with alcohol inks, and also I would like to discuss some of the tools that you can use while you're working with alcohol inks to get certain different effects. So first things first, about the safety precautions. Usually these inks are alcohol based, and that's why inhalation of these inks are not as advisable. That's why we do need to mask up before we start. Alcohol ink works, and usually just any mask will not work. We have to work with something which is basically used for chemical vapors, and this is the kind of mask that I use. This is by 3M, and definitely it is a very good global company, and it has the necessary certification for it. And these are the removable filters which need to be replaced depending on the use. It can be 4 to 6 months, and this nose piece and the mouthpiece can remain the same. So it is very easy to use, to detach these filters and to reattach and start using with new filters. So I would obviously advise all of you guys to use proper protection so that you don't inhale these alcohol fumes as they start to dry out. And also it would help that you work in a well ventilated environment. When I say well ventilated, it means that yes, you can keep a window open, a door open, so that there is a constant exchange of air and you're not inhaling everything, and the same air is not circulating in the same room. Besides that, always helpful for you to work in isolation, I may say, somewhere it is not around your children or your pets, because the same air they will also be breathing, and of course it's not feasible that everybody mask up when you're working. So these are the few protection measures that you need to take when you're working with alcohol inks. The other thing that I prefer to do is I always wear gloves. It can be any kind of gloves, and you can reuse these gloves few times before you discard them. Reason why I use them, because again of its alcohol nature, it tends to dry out your hands excessively. It can also be a skin irritant if you're using alcohol inks regularly. Also, it causes heavy staining because these are very very pigmented, and those stains do not come out with your soap and water. It will not rub off very easily. You will need rubbing alcohol or plain sanitizers to get rid of those stains. Then again, it's excessive use of alcohol and it will dry out your hands. It can cause peeling of the skin. So to avoid all of those issues, best is to use a pair of gloves. Any gloves will do, like I said, plastic, nitrile, or these latex gloves, so that you can keep the stains away from your hands. So these were the basic precautions that you need to do when you're working with alcohol inks. Now the second part of this video is about what kind of tools that you're going to use. In my previous video, I gave you guys an introduction of what types of inks there are, what is isopropyl alcohol solution, why do we need it, etc. But in this one, I want to show you guys some different effects that you can get with different tools. The very basic one is a straw. Now again, it can be any kind of straw. There is no it can be, I have a paper straw or a metal straw will also do. That way you can reuse it very very frequently. And with this straw, I'm going to show you, demonstrate a few things how the inks move. So as always, I would like to start off with a little bit of isopropyl alcohol and any choice of your ink. And you can see that it is diluting well, it's moving. And if I'm using a straw, there is one thing to always take care, because in this case I will not be able to use a mask. So try not to bend too low towards, so try and get a long straw so that you are very much away from the working surface, so that all the alcohol that evaporates does not go through your nose. Secondly, whenever you are going to exhale, you're going to exhale through the mouth via the straw, but do not inhale through the straw as well, because that way whatever alcohol fumes rise up, you do not want traveling it up to your straw and into your mouth. So just a little bit careful with those things. Let's see how this works. Now I am keeping approximately 3 fingers of space when I'm working with the straw. I'm not getting it too close to the surface because I want a gentle blow of air. So like this, I'm able to dry out pretty much whatever I have worked with. You can also leave it to air dry for the remaining part, and this is one way to use alcohol inks with the straw. The second technique I will show you guys is with a hair dryer. Now usually when it comes to hair dryers, there are quite a lot of options that you can go for. You may have one at home already, but this is the kind of hair dryer that I usually go for. This is a small travel hair dryer and comes with this foldable handle, and the good part about it is that it has a round nozzle which is a little narrow. It's just 1 inch wide, and this kind of helps me to not have too much airflow. It has a lot of gush of air, but it is below 1000 watts, so it works with my alcohol inks perfectly. Also, these are kind of cheap quality ones, and they tend to slow down with the excessive use, and the slower it gets, the better it is for me to work. So that's why these hair dryers work for me. Second option with the hair dryer is this curling iron attachment. Now the top portion is a curling iron attachment. This is of the brand Panasonic, and I will be leaving all these links in the description below as well. And this curling iron attachment, once you take it off, you get this nozzle again where the airflow is consistent and good enough for me to work with alcohol inks. So this is one option. So these two options are there, which I will just demonstrate to you how it works. So as soon as I put down my isopropyl alcohol and I put down 1 drop of ink, I can let it air dry for a few seconds so that it's not so watery and won't splash because of the hair dryer air blow. And then after a few seconds, I bring in my hair dryer and just guide the inks around, and that's it. I'm just basically using it to dry up whatever I have created. So basically I have dried up all what I had laid down, and it gives me beautiful lines and beautiful patterns when I'm using hair dryers. It's more to create these kind of abstract shapes. As such, we are using hair dryer to just dry it up very quickly, and also to bring about some patterns and designs, and to kind of gain control as to how you want the ink to dry up and what kind of shapes and forms you want it to create. So as I continue to do it a few times, I can get a lot of softness. I can get a lot of softness in these patterns, etc., with more isopropyl alcohol and the hair dryer. Now, if I were to use the other one, which is the curling iron tool, this one. So again, this one is also going to work the same, but this one is to be used. It doesn't have a handle, so you have to literally use it by holding this end of the curling iron. And just similarly, I'm going to use it to flow my inks around. So again, this one also effortlessly helps me create patterns also and guide my inks, etc. All these tools are something what I already have at home. The travel hair dryer I did get off Amazon. I did not have this one at home, but any basic hair dryer will also do when you start. You don't need to go ahead and buy special things when it comes with alcohol inks. The other tool that I have seen some of the artists use, I have not used it so much myself because I'm pretty content with the hair dryer options that I have. but this is one of the tools that you may see in on Amazon, or you may see on some art and craft stores. This is an embossing heat gun. So embossing heat tool, it comes under those names. And this one has low voltage. It has only 300 watts, but it is quite hot. So if you hold it in one place, it can get a little too intolerable for your sheets that you're working with, and it may show some signs of bending or warping. So I prefer to almost not use it for that reason, but I will just show you and demonstrate this as well. This time let me add one more drop of ink. And there goes 2 when I said 1, but anyways, so I want to show you this as well, how it works. And I'll show you how it I'm going to stop here for a second because the paper is starting to warp. So this is what happens. The paper where I hold the heat gun for a little longer time, a few seconds extra, it starts to warp. That means it starts to produce a bend. It starts to come towards the heat. So this is what I don't like, because sometimes for some of the effects I prefer to use the hairdryer at one point for a long time. And if the embossing tool is going to give me trouble with the synthetic sheets or with the UPO sheets, I rather not use it. I stick to the hairdryer, which is basic. But these tools, if you do have it, you can work with them on any other surface which are not as thin as what your paper is. So definitely you can give it a try. But when the option is to start out with one basic tool, I would still go for the hairdryer if you are a new beginner with alcohol inks. Now one more tool that I would like to show you. It's a little bit of an advanced tool, I can say, and that is something like your straw, but it is called as an airbrush system. So I'll just hook that up and show you guys how that works as well, so that you guys can decide for yourself what you like. So I want to show you first, before I move on to demonstrate how it looks. So this is the airbrush system, usually used by cake artists to decorate cakes and give some effects, and also makeup artists sometimes, where they want to use it mixed with makeup. I'm no expert, but this is what is the airbrush compressor system that we want to use. It comes in it looks like this. This is the entire attachment that you need. There's a compressor, and then there is the airbrush. You hook it on to an electric supply, and it gives out a cold air. So as soon as I am pressing, there is air coming out from this end, and it will help me guide. So now this air is something similar to your your straw. It's a cold blast of air. But this is obviously useful because that way you are not bending down too close to your working surface. You can wear your mask, and also the cold air produces certain different effects than what your hot air tools will do. And also one plus is that when you're using a straw, when you're inhaling, exhaling, you can run out of breath. Obviously with the airbrush system, because it is a completely electrical and mechanical based system, that's not going to happen. So let me show you how it works. Again, just laying down some isopropyl alcohol and trying to guide and blow the air. And depends how you get control of it. If you get too close or you move it from far, you'll be able to produce some different effects. And yes, the compressor sounds, maybe you can hear in the background, it makes a kind of a buzzing noise when you're using it. Now just to compare, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the same straw sheet and show you exactly this was the one where I did with the straw, and let me see how it looks when I'm doing it with the airbrush. So you'll get an idea that the effects are somewhat similar. So this is how the airbrush system looks in comparison with your straw. Definitely the straw, because you're exhaling, there may be some moisture from yourself, with your breath that lands up on your sheet, and it creates different effects. But because the airbrush system you're using, the air is going to be cold and proper, no moisture content, so it gives you a smooth, clear blend. So these are the different tools that you can use. I hope this video was informative, and do try out all of these tools or some of them. And if you have some other tools that you work with, I would really love to know in the comment section below. Keep sending me suggestions as to what kind of videos you beginners would like, and if you are already working with alcohol inks, any specific content that you would like me to share. It will help me to understand what you guys are looking for, and I can probably make those videos as well. So thank you once again for joining me, and hope you liked this video, and if possible, you can subscribe to my channel and get more information about alcohol inks and resin art to follow. Thank you so much.